French omelette. Simple, right? 2 words, 3 ingredients. How hard could it be? You take some eggs, you beat them up, you put them in a pan, you kind of do a foldy thing, you tap a little bit, and Bob's your uncle, you flip it over, and boom, you got yourself a French delicacy before you can say French delicacy. But it's one of the more difficult things to try and cook, especially for the first time. It takes temperature control and subtlety and egg control and just a working knowledge of a number of kitchen concepts. So I want to show you all the ways that it's possible to screw it up and then show you how to do it right. Sounds like a show to me. This episode is very much sponsored by Danish Creamery. Mistakes have always been an important part of this channel, and over the years, they've taught me most of what I know. When it comes to French omelets, high-quality butter is essential, both to rescue and to elevate. With the help of Danish Creamery European unsalted butter, we can create eggs worth savoring, thanks to the nutritious, high-quality cream of California cows. So let's start screwing up, learning from our mistakes, and enjoying some premium European-style butter while we do it. So, your omelet's a little dry looking. It's a little pockmarked, it's maybe a little cracked. What went wrong here? Stupid idiot. No, well, that is dumb. Where'd I go wrong? This guy was made without butter. Not using any fat in the pan, even in a non-stick pan, it's gonna be hard to get out of there, so it's gonna be harder to shape, and as you can see, it's just like flat and dry looking, it's a little cracked, it's pockmarked, it's just dull. How do you fix this? Well, the thing that would have saved it is high quality California cow Danish Creamery butter. You need fat to make a good omelet, you just do. And butter is the finest fat in all the land for making eggs.
So how are you screwing up this time, Andrew?
I'm gonna use a stainless steel pan, like a real jagweed. It is possible to make a French omelet in a stainless steel pan, but I cannot, nor would I, recommend it. Kendall informed me sometimes at very high-end cooking schools, it's a challenge. Can you make a French omelet in a stainless steel pan? It involves superheating it and basically seasoning it almost like cast iron so it has a naturally non-stick surface, because here's the problem with stainless steel. The grain that you see when you look at stainless, you see there's a grain, show them some stainless steel. You see that? There's grain. When metal heats and cools, it expands and contracts. And all those grooves basically get wider and smaller, and they grab onto your food. Just don't do it. It's just science, whatever. Science, who cares? Oh my God, it's not sticking. The pan is just too good. It's just too high quality, a tri-ply stainless steel pan. Or it's the great butter. Either way, if you turn it into Babish Culinary Universe, you're getting good products. No, that didn't pan out. But this did, because it's the pan. Oh, okay, no, we're sticking. Okay, all right, whew. Really pulled our eggs out of the egg place. Oh geez Louise. Oh, Jiminy Willipers. Oh, Christmas in Connecticut. Oh no. Oh dear sweet God. Oh, my wife's gonna leave me when she sees this. Oh. Why? So your omelet looks like this. Not terrible, it's okay shape, but the real problem lies inside. If we look at the middle, we're dealing with little more than a roll of scrambled eggs. There's absolutely no goo factor here. It's just solid, set curds, rolled like a jelly roll. Why'd that happen? Really, it comes down to heat control. Hear that sizzle? You don't want to hear that. And then if the heat is too high, as you can see, curds start to form very, very quickly. Now you can still overcook an omelet over low heat. It's just a matter of cooking it too long. Either way, you're setting the curds completely before rolling. And just to kind of overemphasize that, obviously you never do this, but trying to illustrate a point, okay? And I'm too good at it to do it just by accident. which is not only gonna cause tearage, but it's also gonna create basically just rolled scrambled eggs, which are worth as much as the hot sauce that you put on them, because that's the only thing that's gonna save them. Even Danish Creamery can't save this. It's just, well, it'd still be good, but you know what I mean. Ouch. 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 Ow, fricker. I mean, fricker. Fricker. Doesn't look bad, right? All good, right? Right? I'm asking.
Sure.
Not. It looks pretty inoffensive on the outside. The outside of a French omelet is supposed to be nice, sort of just flat, pale yellow. But its inside holds a much filthier, dirtier secret. That is too gooey. You can see that there is liquid, practically uncooked egg coming out. This is very, very close to being done properly, but it was rolled just shy where the curd wasn't quite set. It was still flowing around a little bit. So you gotta be careful with your heat control, and you gotta be careful not to jump the gun. Sometimes especially if you've overcooked a couple in a row, you're gonna overcompensate and end up undercooking, which frankly, just as frustrating. I'm so frustrated. It does look like an alien placenta, Kendall, you're right. And aliens eat their placenta, so therefore it is alien food. Ugh. So your omelet ended up kind of streaky, and I have a feeling on the inside it's only gonna get worse. Let's take a look. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the chickanity. Oh. So what happened here? I don't care. That's probably good enough. Yeah, I mean, come on. It's a big deal, it's just eggs. It's just freaking eggs. It's just eggs. Underbeaten eggs. You really, really need to beat your eggs thoroughly, super incorporating the yolk and the white, because they cook at different temperatures and they cook up different colors. You know, they're egg white and egg yolk. You've seen egg whites and egg yolks, presumably, if you've even watched the first couple minutes of this video. We don't have to break into that. Look, you can clearly see the streaks of egg white. If the white is undercooked, your breakfast guests will run screaming. They'll call hazmat and the CDC on you, and you'll have to give up your kids. So make sure you really beat your eggs.
Well, how are you gonna mess these up?
Well, man, today I'm gonna overwhip these eggs using oh, Jesus. So, okay, yeah, I mean, these are comically overwhipped, but I have seen people beat their eggs using a hand mixer, so it's well within the realm of possibility. Okay. What?
It just looks so funny.
It's fine, it's gonna be fine. Look, that's delicious. What if this is like a great American discovery? French eggheads trying to tell me they invented an omelet? Try that in a Denny's. Try that in a small Denny's. See how far you make it there. Well, I don't think this is within the realm of possibility for most folks, but glad we're illustrating it. Kind of. What, Brad? It's fine. Everything's fine. Perhaps a bit cartoonish, but as they say, the best lessons in life are cartoons. Oh! 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 So your omelet looks like this. It's covered in holes. And why did this happen? You can beat too much air into the eggs, and as a result, the omelet has a destroyed texture from being overbeat. So you can overbeat if you really, really try. So don't try to overbeat it. It's the easiest advice in the world. Just don't try to do that on purpose. What was I doing?
Ruining eggs.
Oh yeah, okay. How do I do that? I don't even know. So what I'm doing here is I'm making too many eggs in too small a pan. And the problem that you're gonna run into a couple problems there. First, you kind of have to overcook the eggs, because in order to get all the curd set. Like, you basically just need to cook it for such a long time. It's very, very hard to get it done properly. But also, shaping's gonna be a right old dog. It's very, very hard to achieve the correct texture when it's this thick and you're trying to cook this many eggs. It's possible. I'm gonna see if I can still pull it off. But I am trying to demonstrate something wrong, so maybe I shouldn't do that. It doesn't look bad. Yeah. Still, it's more about the difficulty. I know what I'm doing, okay? Like, I really know what I'm doing. So I was able to pull this off. But you don't know what you're doing. What about the inside? How do we do for doneness? Well, that's pretty good. But the problem is, so you see those giant curds that form there? Like, I had to use too much heat for too long because I used too small a pan. You need to make sure that you use the right ratio of eggs to pan. Personally, I would probably go 3 to 4 eggs for an 8-inch pan, 4 to 5 eggs for a 10-inch pan, 5 to 7 eggs for a 12-inch pan.
What about a 60-inch pan?
What are you looking for with that, Brad? What do you want me to do with that?
I want to see your math.
It's 5 times 5 times 7, or 5 times 5 to 7, which is 25 to 28. 7 times, no.
Kendall can't help.
7 times 5, 40. What? What's 7 times 5? 35. Jesus, what's wrong with me? All right, so for a 60-inch pan, Brad, you'd use anywhere from 25 to 35 eggs. If you run into that problem, call me. My omelet's too skinny, said the boy. Ha 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 ha, said the wizened old man. You simply use too small a pan with too big a pan, darn it. Can't even see it over the rim of the pan. Where'd the food go? There it is. Where'd it go? I don't have object permanence. There it is. So this is the other end of the spectrum. Too few eggs and too big a pan, and what ends up happening is you end up with a real thin pancake of scrambled eggs that you just roll up into a roll. But also, as you can see, because it was so darn thin, I was simply unable to generate a nice soft curd inside. And there's little to no point in doing that, unless that's what you're into. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. It's not very yummy though. Ugh. God. That's like somehow the grossest one. It's very penile. So your omelet looks like a schlong. How'd this happen? Come on. Come on, we're taking it too serious. It's a French omelet. What's the big deal? You gotta move it? I probably don't need to move it around that much. It's probably fine. Ow. By not keeping the eggs moving, what we ended up with was huge curds. So when you're making a French omelet, you want to keep the eggs moving constantly, either with, some chopsticks or a little spatula. You just want to agitate them as much as you can so that you form very, very small curds. That's going to give you a creamy interior to the inside of your omelet. By not keeping them moving, not only did it make the omelet more prone to tearing when we started folding it, but also you just end up with just straight up just cooked eggs in a roll. So keep the eggs moving at all times until the curds start to set. More on that later. Is this on? Can you tell me what's wrong with this French omelet?
No!
Western omelet? What's that?
I think it might be horse.
And just like a cacophony of, I know you can't do it, but just picture a cacophony of children all trying to simultaneously give a sentence-long answer to that question. It's just like stumbling over each other. Just imagine that and just pretend that we did it because it would be a funny bit.
We did it though.
Oh, cool. What's the problem with this French omelet? Well, it's an American Western omelet. That's the problem. You don't want to put a whole bunch of cheese, ham, peppers, and onions in there, but also you don't simply fold over a French omelet. It's a different presentation, it's a different style, it's a different shape, and typically you don't stuff it with a whole bunch of stuff the way you do an American omelet. Is this more delicious and frankly better to look at? Yes. So yeah, if you find yourself, blacking out in front of the stove and you wake up and there's a Western omelet in front of you, you took a wrong turn at Western omelet. This was Brad's idea.
one up for me, Andrew?
Load one up for you, Brad? I'm gonna load one up for you, Brad. Apparently the correct time to stuff a French omelet, to put ingredients in there, is right at the end after you've done a partial roll. You sort of stuff the stuffings in there, and then you fold it over itself, business as usual. Ow! Oh, but it's so hard to fold with all that cheese in there. And invert. Ow, my finger. And there you have it. That's a not unhandsome looking omelet. But when we hop inside, we're in for a rather unpleasant surprise. Oh no, oh no. Overstuffing an omelet not only makes it harder to fold, it also, if you put too much cheese in there in particular, it's not going to melt all the way through. Omelets cook very, very quickly, and whatever stuffings you're putting there in the end have to be very spare. And also, if it's cheese, you gotta put just a little bit in there so it has time and the ability to melt. There's not enough heat to melt a whole lot of cheese. Plus, a super cheesy French omelet is kind of putting a hat on a hat, because it's already very gooey and flowy on the inside. So adding cheese is just supposed to be a little augmentation, not a central theme of the omelet. Because again, this is not America, this is France. Things are done, I don't know how they're done in France. How do they do things in France? Within reason. Now, we've covered most of the technical misfits you can run into, and now it's time for the big bad one. Shaping. Shaping has got to be the hardest part of making a French omelet. It requires precision, patience, kindness, piety, because you can tear it, you can, sort of make it the wrong shape, you can fold it too early, too late, you can, there's a number of things that can go wrong. So yeah, continuing to roll it all the way to the end can cause an issue. Then you don't have a seam on the bottom, it's on the side, so it's gonna be harder to hide. Oh, seam's out. Now, this omelet is not dead on arrival. We can fix it. That's one of the beauties of French omelets, is that if you didn't get it just right in the pan, you can always reshape it after the fact. It's gonna be a little painful, but it's your fault. So it's the penance you pay. Ow. You just sort of roll it over so that the seam is on the bottom, and just kind of tuck in the ends so it comes to a taper on each side. It should look like a little torpedo. So yeah, shaping can be problematic, but it can be revised after the fact. So if you got a bad roll going, don't worry, you don't need to nuke the whole omelet. You can fix it in post, kind of like we do all the time. Everything I say. These lines, I didn't say these on the day. This is all ADR. That's what my real voice sounds like. Okay, the ripping and the tearing. Here we go. The ripping and the tearing. It's easy to fold a French omelet. You just kind of, oh shoot. See what happens? See this? Look at this disaster. Look what's befallen me. When you're folding the omelet, you want to fold it slowly and gradually along the edge. Just keep moving as though you're, I don't know, you're rolling up a, what do you roll up? What do you roll? You roll stuff. A rug.
With a body in it?
So you want to roll gradually along the seam, and if you keep the eggs moving, you'll have smaller curds, which will make it easier to fold. If you make sure to wipe around the outside of the pan often, that'll prevent thin, hard curds from forming, which can contribute to the ripping and the tearing. So, enough mistakes. How do we make the perfect French omelet? First, I'm gonna crack 5 eggs perfectly with one hand and not gonna get any shell in there. Calling it. Already got shell in there. Let's try that again. A little more force. Oh my God! Come on. There. What's happening right now? Ooh, last one was perfect. If the last one's perfect, that's all that matters. So, to make as homogeneous an egg mixture as possible, we want to beat these really thoroughly. It's a good start, but if we pass them through a fine mesh sieve, Not only are we gonna have a more homogeneous mixture, we're also going to rid the eggs of their
Caleza.
whatever it is, we're getting rid of it because it can be detrimental to your omelet's texture. Yeah. And that is a homogeneous mixture. Let's head over to the stovetop. We're ready. High quality butter, Danish Creamery butter. About a tablespoon's worth. I have been beating these around with chopsticks, and that is a handsome option. But one of my more favorite ways to do it is with one of these little rubber spatulas, because this gives you the ability to sweep around the outside and get the curd off the outside of the pan, which can be something that ruins your omelet's texture. You definitely can use chopsticks. Don't use anything metal. Get it moving as soon as you can. And as soon as you see curd forming on the outside like that, get it in. We're starting on medium heat. This is the temperature at which you want to sort of set the curd. Then once you've got it to the point where it's done and ready to roll, we're gonna lower the heat to low so that it continues cooking and stays hot, but also does not brown and doesn't overcook.
You really know what you're doing.
No, I don't. I'm making all this up, dude. Everybody's just faking it till they make it. That's what they don't tell you. Except the folks at Danish Creamery. All right, see, this is right about where we want to stop. As soon as you're starting to see the bottom of the pan like that, we have a curd that's ready to finalize. See, when I turn it like that, it's not running at all. That means that it's pretty ready to go. By the time it's rolled, it'll be cooked just right. Now I'm gonna switch to a big spatula just because it can be a little easier to roll with. Boop, boop, boop. I said boop.
Is that part of the technique?
Yes. You see how smooth and even the egg is? We want to run this around the bottom to loosen up the edge there. And then that's when we want to bring this side over, over, over. There we go. Kill the heat. Okay. Now, it looks pretty boring. And if you sprinkle chives on there, they're just going to bounce off like it's got a force field on it or something. What you need is some high quality butter, because that is both going to give it some sheen and it's going to make your toppings stick. I mean, that's going to taste great too, obviously. Chives, little freshly cracked pepper, and some nice flaky finishing salt. There you have it, folks. The perfect French omelet. Let's see if I did my job correctly. As you can see, the interior is set, but nice and gooey. You've got basically soft scrambled eggs in there. It's a very special, luxuriant thing to start the day with. Perfect. It's a wonderful expression of eggs. Go out there, give it a shot for yourself, tell me how it goes, and come back anytime you want to see me screw things up.
Weird, you nailed that outro.
I had to get something right today.
Thanks again to our sponsor, Danish Creamery, for bringing you this episode of Botched by Babish. If you're looking for a kitchen game changer, consider Danish Creamery butter.